Polly Jo Labbé here with Star Nations, our live stream groups that are being broadcast to you through BeLive TV. We're here, heading into the end of October, and the holidays are coming. I know you might not want to think about that. I surely don't, but my team was very clear that maybe we could use a little energy tune-up, so that we have enough juice and enough stamina and a chance to kind of reboot our energy system, as it were. So welcome to the show. Hello, ladies. Hi, Christine. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here. And of course, Neshi. Hi. Hi. I hope my nephew George is behaving, or at least having fun while he's misbehaving. And Neshi, always seeing her name always reminds me, to have you guys like and share the broadcast. So we can get this out there, because I think everybody could use a little reboot, a little energy tune-up. Kind of get ready for the upcoming energy. And so Andrew's saying good morning. Hi, Andrew. Nice to have you in the house. It always makes me feel good to have Maine in the house. Can't wait to be there myself. So that's exciting. And Neshi is saying, I just sprinkled the live stream, which means she posted it and shared it in some groups and with friends, so that people could join us for that. Oh, nice. Hi, Kimberly. Good evening to you. Glad you had a nice day of lovely treatments. That's always a good day of self-care. Is terrific. And Georgie heard my voice. He was sleeping, but now he's looking for me. Hi, Georgie. Auntie PJ says hi. He's such a cutie. Animals are really good at helping us center and ground. And some of them are quite skilled. They really understand what their job is around that. And, Georgie, being part of the Star Nations family, he takes care of us show hosts and faculty, so that we are most centered and grounded to do our work, especially when we're there at Star Nation. So that's really cool. And my cats will do that too. Ocelot is known for that. He's really good at the healing, hands-on healing, but Belle's gotten really good about working on heart chakra stuff. She likes to get up and purr on your heart to help it open and expand gently. So cool. Thank you, Kimberly, for sharing. I really appreciate that. Because, we all go through busy periods, and lots of times when we hit the fall, because it's the beginning of school and the change of the seasons, and we sort of start thinking, if we're in places that get wintry, then, we start to think about, we got to get all this stuff done before the weather comes, and keeps us in. So we have this we're kind of like the squirrels, we're gathering our nuts and we're kind of getting ourselves prepared. And when we do that, we sometimes run ourselves a little ragged. We may overbook our schedule. And then we're surprised when we're not feeling good, we're sick, or we're super tired. And it's really because we've been, running really hard. And we needed to some degree, but mostly it's because we're a little bit out of balance. Our priorities get a little upside down sometimes. So that's what happens, and our energy gets a little depleted. We also can have times when family stuff is big. And that's why the energy tune-up is great right now, because it'll be here in the archives as you go through the holiday season with family and friends, because there are some times when we get a little depleted by that. There's a lot of expectations. We're out of our normal schedule of, sleeping and eating and things like that. And when we do that, our body gets stressed out. And when we get stressed out, we all know we end up getting sick. So This energy tune-up will be here for you on the Chakra Session page or on our YouTube channel to just click on it and use it when you're like, whoo, that event just did me in a little bit. All right, so I hope that helps. And so what is an energy tune-up? Well, you know, the way my team shows it to me, you know, some people would say, okay, we're doing a chakra balancing session. That makes a certain amount of sense. But we're also going to be looking at not only are our chakras balanced and in their brightest capacity, but how's our aura doing? Because our aura is they're the layers of our immune system. And so when those are sort of stretched too tight or have been taking a lot of energetic hits, well, then we get little tears and holes. And then that's when other energy can come in, other energy from other people, but also viruses and bacteria. So we really want to seal that up in all the layers, not just the one closest to our body. Our body helps with the physical layers, but it's nice when we can make sure that our emotional layer is nice and steady, our mental layer, so our thoughts and our beliefs aren't, you know, spinning inside our head, you know, and then also our spiritual layer so that we are as fully connected to our heart and living from our heart center as we can. And that happens not only in the heart chakra, but it also happens in that layer of our aura because it sort of gives us our energy boost in that layer. So it's really super helpful. So yes, so now she's adding this tip. Peeps, here's a tip for you. If you would like Polly Jo to know that you're here listening, watching the live stream, say hello in the live chat, then I'll see you in the Be Live studio. Yeah, I know that there are people who are watching, and I know you can see it in your stream, but I only see the comments. So it's nice to know who's in the house, who's the energy in the house. It also helps me connect more easily to your energy and help you move stuff when we do the meditation later, when I know who's in the house. So great. Hello. Good morning, Margaret. Glad to have you. Glad you're here with us. And Martina, good morning or afternoon. Yes, whichever you're in is fine. It's always sort of that in between here on the East Coast. It's noon. So yeah, it's afternoon. But for a lot of people, it is morning. It's still morning. And what a great thing to kind of start off your day. But then we have Kimberly where it's the end of her day. So whatever time it is for you, it's a perfect time for you to be here with us. Hi, Deborah. Glad to have you around as well. I heard a happy retirement is in order. I hope that's been going well. Oh, and Dinah. Hi, Dinah. How are you doing? Did you survive after the weekend? Dinah was at the class I taught at Star Nations last weekend, which was a doozy for energy healing. So it can take a little integration to be able to do that. So for the energy tune-up, you know, we want to think about how do our chakras really, what do they do? And a lot of us who are here, we have some really good knowledge around that. But maybe we've got things that are a little sluggish going on in our life right now. Maybe the money flow is a little sluggish, not the way you want it to be. Maybe you've been feeling extra tired. Maybe you have some aches and pains that are not going away. Maybe you have an acne breakout. That's been a big one for a number of people. Or hopefully it's acne. There's been some people with shingles and stuff like that. So those are all ways that our physical body can have difficulty. It's removing toxins. But our emotional body can kind of be all over the place. There's times when all of a sudden we may feel heaviness or sadness, or I've had a lot of people talking about they're having these spouts of anger come up kind of out of nowhere. And that's pointing to the fact that, one, the emotional layer of the aura is a little leaky, and number two, the energy in a couple of your chakras is probably a little out of whack. Because normally when we have our emotions, they're meant to flow through us like water. Even anger, you're supposed to feel it, to capture it, to express it, and then you're on to the next thing. But when it hangs on and it builds and it tightens and you feel your muscles contract, well, then we're holding on to something. And generally, we're all holding on to old energy. I don't want anybody to go, I feel badly about it. It's really cool. Our body is this marvelous tool that is meant to show us, hey, what's going on? And so we can do something about it. We have free will. We can choose to heal, or we can choose not to. It's up to us. So thanks for being here. So let's see. Dinah's saying that she's still recalibrating, but it was wonderful. Yes. That integration process, when you do deep healings, it takes a little time. It can take up to a month for that to align with your new energy system. And Martina's going to come see us later after work. So yes, much love and light to you too. And so Neshi is, of course, doing all the great stuff about my services in the Star Nations Academy, and I'll do that at the end. I'll make sure to post those. Because, there's some fabulous classes that are coming up. We have some every month. We have a free class that's in our private group. And it's a great, they always have these nuggets of great information to help us kind of do what we need to do or do what we want to do as part of our life's purpose and moving forward. So getting back to our energy centers, let's just start with the first chakra. So the first chakra is all about survival energy. It holds our deepest fears, and it also holds our connection to money, our job, our finances, and our family, our home. So if anything in there is a little wobbly, we're going to have some difficulty. We might have to move a lot. We might change jobs frequently. We might work and have trouble getting paid. Our pay may not match our bills. Those are all things that when we have some difficulty, maybe a little leaking in that first chakra, it's like that energy leaks out. It also will cause symptoms of dizziness and vertigo, and it causes breakouts in our skin. So anything to do with our skin, even shingles, has to do with that root chakra, as well as our legs, our knees, our feet. So if we have chronic trouble in our knees or our ankles or our feet, that has to do with our root chakra having a little bit of difficulty. And that's true for a lot of people. Most people have trouble in the bottom three chakras because we're here on this planet. So that's something we are meant to work through and overcome. The second chakra, that one has a lot to do with our emotional body, but it's also connected to all of our relationships. Yay. Positive and negative. So, that can be our love relationships, but it also can be where we have held addictions. Because if we don't have a good relationship with alcohol or drugs or food or money, well, that can be right in there because it's not in an even energy of give and take. So it's that ebb and flow of the water energy that's prevalent there. If it's not in balance, it starts to show up in a number of different ways. And if we hold on to our emotions and we don't allow ourselves to feel them all, which we all have been trained in ways to not express our emotions, well, then there may be some stuff bubbling in there. And when the second chakra goes wacky, well, it impacts our lower back a lot, our hips, and it influences our appendix and also our reproductive organs. And so that can be quite a bit of stuff that is going on. Sometimes it can impact our digestive tract, but in general, it has the most influence over the reproductive organs and the appendix. But we show a lot of it in the lower back, like all those, sciatica things. Those are first and second together. And the hips, we just hold a lot. That's where our manifestation energy flows through. So if our first and second chakra don't have an open pathway to each other, then the manifestation flow's got nothing to root to, nothing to ground it so it can take action. So that can be a little difficult. In the third chakra, well, this is all of our lower organs. So it's all of our digestive tract. It's our kidneys, our stomach, our pancreas, our spleen, our gallbladder, our liver. They're just all right in there. And all of that, you can just sort of feel all of that presence right below your rib cage in the solar plexus, where all of that energy wants to collect together. So we tend to do any difficulties in one of those organs. And, think about how many people have diabetes right now, how many people have difficulty with their kidneys. Their adrenals are also connected to that. Our stomach. So we probably know a bunch of people who have difficulty there. And that is just one of those places where, we hold a lot of energy. That's where our power center is. It's our sense of self that gets centered there. And there's also pockets for where we hold any resentment and any judgment. Whether we're being judged or we've judged others, it sits all right in that, ring around the belly area. So if you could just think about those lower three chakras, stuff may be a little bit off right now. And if not, terrific. But most people have one of those spots that can be giving them a little bit of difficulty. Because it's connected to our power center as well, it has a lot to do with depression too. And when depression is present, there's actually a dark ring around the third chakra. And when there's that dark ring, it's that dark cloud that people feel over their head. It's also that black hole that many people think they're going to fall into, because that's actually really there energetically. So it makes a lot of sense. So that is another piece that can be affecting us, and that would be all the way out to our mental layer. When we go into the heart center, the heart center is it really controls our love relationships and our sense of self-love. It's where we hold on to the energy of our inner child. Lots of times we have trouble with our inner child being in a love place, because if we had a lot of childhood wounding, our child sometimes doesn't feel like it deserves the love of being in our heart center. So that can be a point of difficulty. And we all know that in the physical realm, when we're having trouble with that, we're going to have high blood pressure, low blood pressure, cholesterol, things like that. But you're also going to have difficulty with your lungs. asthma, bronchitis, pneumonia. Those are the big ones, bronchial stuff. And then the physical, that spot right in between the shoulder blades in your spine, that hurts a lot for a lot of people and keeps a lot of chiropractors in business. You know, that's a big spot. It also runs down your shoulders and your arms, especially on the inside. Is you know, like if you imagine your arms doing a big hug, anything that falls inside the hug, that's all connected to your heart. Now she's saying those wacky second chakras and the symptoms. I know, you know, it's so hard because when we have those symptoms going on, we logically know something's out of whack, but sometimes it's hard to focus on our energy system. And, you know, and all of these chakras are impacted on what foods are best to eat, you know, because, you know, the root chakra is all about your foundation. So it's often about protein because those are the building blocks of our energy system. And the root vegetables, anything that grew underground, has a high earth content, a high mineral content. And so those are really good for us to ingest. In the second chakra, we love the watery stuff, and any food that energetically reads as water. So things like the citrus fruits, watermelon, cucumbers, lettuce, stuff that doesn't necessarily have a lot of taste, but it can actually quench your thirst, right? And in that third chakra, well, we tend to want the things that will fire us up. So sometimes we want the spicy foods, but lots of times we will reach for sugar and the carbohydrates because those will sort of feed the fire quickly, even though they burn out a little bit too fast. So that can be just problematic. And with the upper chakras, pretty much what the upper chakras want for ingestion is water, because that's what we're made up of. So the more our water is in balance, the more our energy is in balance. And I can say that and know that and still be have a lot of difficulty drinking enough water. It's one of my biggest sabotage things that I'm working on. And then getting a new water bottle. Because I find that if I have a clear water bottle and I can actually see the water going up and down, it's very helpful to me. When I can't see it, when it's like aluminum or something like that, where it's you don't see the water going up and down, I'm not having that sense of I've gotten anywhere, and there's no gratification to push through, like a reward of, okay, you drank it all, now you get to have more. So that's my new solution that I'm working on. So when we move out of the heart chakra, then we move up into the throat. Then that is all about, that has to do with voicing our truth, speaking ourselves, our self-expression, whether that's writing or dancing or creating a business plan. However we are meant to express who we are, that's in that throat chakra. And lots of times we bite back the words that we want to say, and instead, we try to be nice. And in the being nice, we block our own energy. So when that happens, we can get, it's in such a confined area in the body, it gets very localized. So when we have the sore throats, when we have strep, those are big indicators. But the big one that tends to happen the most is you have a lot of neck pain, shoulder pain behind the shoulders. Carpal tunnel is in the heart. But if you have any other like wrist problems, it may be connected to the throat. The other thing that comes up with the throat chakra is the migraine headaches. And even things like having a concussion. And now I know people don't necessarily understand that when we injure ourselves physically, it's a manifestation of the energy that we're already holding. So it's like the energy's got nowhere else to go. So it creates something in our physical body or our emotional body so that we start taking care of it. So, you get whiplash from a car accident or something like that, or you hit your head. That may be a very strong sign that, you need to be able to speak up for yourself. And sometimes, when we have an injury like that too, it forces us to take time off. It forces us into self-care. I would rather take care of me from a knowledge place than have to do a hospital stay or be on crutches. And as a dance teacher, that's who I used to be, and it would show up a lot in that fashion. So let's see. Hi, Judy. Glad you're joining us. Welcome to the show. Oh, and Jane, nice to have you here. Yeah, the dark ring around the chakra. I'm somebody who's used to suffer from post-traumatic stress. And so I remember the dreams of that I was going to slide into this dark hole. This sense that the sun couldn't get to me in different ways. But when I started doing energy work and I was able to start seeing the chakras, clearly seeing them in my clients, it's literally like if you coated the whole thing in like this black goo, that's what it looks like. And whenever, I'll see it like partial. When I see it partial, then usually there's also a partial around the heart. And that's when I see grief, heavy duty grief being processed. But depression itself that holds on, I have yet to see somebody who has depression who doesn't have the ring. And I have never seen anybody with the ring who didn't have depression. So yeah, it's just it's an interesting thing that I noticed. My students have noticed as well. And when I've talked to other practitioners who have the ability to see, because we don't all have that ability. Many of us are hearers, clairaudient, but the ones who can see, they have seen the same thing too. So yeah, it's been very interesting. Hi, Violet. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Nice to have you. So in that throat chakra, think about how many people have stress headaches, right? The reason is that stress, that energy collects all at the top of the shoulders, goes up the back of the neck, and grabs onto the back of the base of the skull. And all of that is related to that throat chakra not being able to fully express what it needs to at any given moment. Then when we move up into the third eye, into the sixth chakra in the center of the forehead, that can be your sinuses, that can be ear stuff, that can be the tinnitus. TMJ is a cross between the two because it falls in our control center. TMJ is always about fighting back things, not wanting to say, but also really trying to control their environment because it's hard to control what's going on inside. If we have trouble with our vision, that is some difficulty in that third eye as well. And when we have difficulty in the third eye, sometimes it's a matter of we have special gifts that we haven't been willing to open, to use, or haven't figured out how to do that yet. And sometimes it's that we've got a lot of mental energy that's kind of running rampant. If we're spinning in our thoughts, having trouble sleeping, having headaches, that can all be part of that too. The with this particular center, there's a rise of difficulty in this center because it connects to ADHD, ADD, most of this autism, most of the people who are on the autism spectrum will have difficulty with the chakra. It also relates to, it's connected to schizophrenia, and it's also connected to like any of the dissociative disorders. Schizophrenia and the dissociative disorders, they both have, you have to have, there's a connection between the third eye and the root chakra. So when they're both out of whack, then it will happen. It can happen. It won't necessarily happen. You won't all of a sudden be like, this is going to happen because I have a wobbly first chakra. And when we're disconnected from the crown, we are filled with a lot of negativity, a lot of doubt. We don't have as many physical symptoms, but there's a sense of loneliness, of not being supported, not being heard, that really gets connected to that. So it's more of the our thought process when our crown is having difficulty. It also happens if we don't believe in the divine energy. So because you have to be open to possibilities. The crown stays open when you're open to possibilities. The more we feel stuck and that nothing can change, the more our crown starts to close. So again, that's going to cause a lot of headache kind of things as well. It will impact our vision because those thoughts affect our perception, right? So we won't see as clearly. And so it can also lead to the dizziness and the vertigo too. So those are just a few of the energy things. Then, we also have, the right side of the body has a lot to do with our physical life and how things are going. It's also our masculine energy. So if all of the injuries seem to happen on one side of the body, then we know that the circuitry on that side maybe is having difficulty staying connected. And then the left side of the body is our feminine side, and it's our spiritual side. So if our injuries or illnesses all happen on that side of the body, we know we may not be walking our spiritual path fully, or we may be blocking something that we are meant to do. It's just an awareness, right? And then we talk about the back, about the spine. Anything that hurts in the back that's in a particular location, then it's connected to that chakra as well. But the spinal column, the lymphatic system in particular, it holds onto all of the emotional energy, that water that we didn't express. So it can get real sluggish, and that will start to lead to things like adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, Lyme. Those are the big ones. And it's because the lymphatic system isn't flowing at its full capacity, because there's a lot of old emotional energy that is taking up space. And a lot of that, is based on anger, because